Welcome to the Nostalgia Test Podcast, the show where two longtime friends put their mainstream pop culture past to the ultimate test, the Nostalgia Test. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Nostalgia Test Podcast. I'm Dan Dissinger here in LA, and I'm here with my longtime friend and co-host, Manny Coelho, there in New York. Manny, how are you doing tonight?
What's going on, man? I'm doing great. I'm doing good. Guys, if this is the first time you've stumbled upon the Nostalgia Test podcast, or you got, told to come here, check us out, or you just, saw a hashtag and you saw, oh, they're doing this episode. Let me check it out. Well, welcome. And we need you to like, subscribe, and share at nostalgiatest.com, right? Nostalgiatest.com. Dan, I always mess that up.
It's the nostalgiatest.com. That's our website. And
yeah, there you go.
At the Nostalgia Test for both Instagram and Facebook.
There it is. You heard it first from, or second from Dan. Anyway, guys, what is the Nostalgia Test? Since you're here, I'm going to let you know. The Nostalgia Test is where Dan and I put our pop culture past to the test. What does that mean? We decide whether it stays nostalgic, where we know we used to like it as kids, it makes us feel good, and whether it passes, means do we still like it now? Is it still good enough? Does it hold up? Whatever you want to call it. It's called the Nostalgia Test, and we decide. It's cool. I'm energized for this one because we are doing one of my favorite movies by this actor, who is one of my favorite actors actually of that time and now actually. And I guess he's a great person. Maybe he's not. I was upset last year when he was, when he got announced. We knew it was bad when Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. Oh, Tom Cruise is on my mind. He's taking my breath away. Tom Hanks. That was a Manny tangent. Dan's gonna have to cut out everything I just said.
You guys, we're doing an amazing film today. From actor Tom Hanks, 1988, Big. Yes.
Dan, before we get into it, because if this is the first time listening to us do a movie, we dissect a movie from start to end, and sometimes we go all over the place with it. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Big, you should have seen it by now. 1988. What did you think when you first heard that we're going to do it? Were you like, oh, I'm excited, I love this movie?
First, I was like, well, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I don't remember the last time I saw it, but I do remember liking it when I saw it, but I was definitely young. So I was like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to see now that I'm an adult. What's going to come to the surface that I didn't know? I mean, I already had an idea. I'm like, there's some problems with this idea of a child then becoming 30 and then doing all these things and also having a girlfriend or whatever. And then,
a woman friend?
A woman friend. Yeah, no, but seriously, right? An adult woman friend. I mean,
sure.
And he, obviously, they've had other movies like this. I mean, 13 Going on 30 with Jennifer Garner. But the difference that film is the whole world fast forwards. So it's everyone fast forwards. In Big, he, the next day, just becomes 30. And everyone else is exactly the same. It's just the next day. So this I was like, I'm really worried about what's about to happen. So I was a little kind of worried.
This is considered a comedy drama fantasy.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So I remember loving this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So many classic scenes. I don't want to say so many, but ingrained classic scenes, if you will. Was happy that we were going to do this. And I wanted to see if I really was going to not be an adult watching this in 2021 with my, with all the political correctness and all the, which sometimes we get into in the podcast, and we can't look past certain things. And I wanted to see could I let go and be in this world, be in this movie and in the world that exists just in that movie. And I got to say, it did it for me because of who it was playing the part.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Hanks, I don't think there's anyone that couldn't have done this movie better than him. You know what I mean? I think And that
I was thinking
also,
Jim Carrey. What would you think if Jim Carrey
dude,
got the
it's
part?
so funny that you said that. It's so funny that you said Jim Carrey because I was watching it last night and I was thinking, I was like, and obviously maybe he didn't do this, but I was like, man, Jim Carrey, it looks like Jim Carrey studied this film and how Tom Hanks did this stuff, like how he created this childlike innocence. Because I was like, I feel like Jim Carrey's done this before. He's done these like this type of like acting that Tom Hanks does in Big. So I think Jim Carrey, if please do not redo this movie. No one reboot anything from the 80s. But I think Jim Carrey, well, not now, probably Jim Carrey can't do, but I think during like Dumb and Dumber time, I think he or Truman Show, stuff like that, I think Jim Carrey probably would have been the best choice for that sort of revisit, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you want to get some facts in here, Dan, before we get into it?
Oh yeah, because there are some heavy hitters just on the writing and directing side, right? So Big is a 1988 American fantasy comedy drama film directed by Penny Marshall, rest in peace, and stars
Yes.
Tom Hanks as an adult Josh Baskin, a young boy who makes a wish to be big, and is then aged to adulthood overnight. The film also stars Elizabeth Perkins, who is awesome, David Moscow as young Josh, John Hurd, and Robert Loggia, and was written by Gary Ross and Ann Spielberg. Now, the movie was made for $18 million and made $151.7 million in 1988. Now, there are two cuts to this movie. There's a theatrical cut, which is 104 minutes, and then there's the extended edition, which is 130 minutes. And I believe what we saw was the extended version. Just a little bit about the writers. Anne Spielberg is an American screenwriter and the sister of film director Steven Spielberg. She's written Big, and then she's an uncredited co-writer of the film Small Soldiers. Now, Gary Ross, he's best known for writing and directing movies and films like Pleasantville, Seabiscuit, The Hunger Games, Ocean's 8, Big, and Dave. So you have a lot of heavy hitters on this movie.
I thought Tom Hanks was a perfect choice. He embodies a 13-year-old so well. And this was like right around the time that there was like 14 going on 30. There was all these age swaps, Dream a Little Dream, vice versa, 18 again, like father, like son. So like this was a genre that was going on. I say it's one of the top movies of all those that I said. I think this one's the most memorable one.
Well, what's that movie with Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage? I think it's vice versa. What you
Vice versa. That one was good too. Oh my God,
1988.
that one was
That
really
came
good.
out
Yeah.
1988 as well.
Yeah.
Wow. It
Yeah.
was a big that the switcheroo movie or the body switcheroo or whatever you want to call it. Definitely, and that movie didn't do well though. $10 million and only made 13.7, I guess, because you're going up against
Dude, you're going up against big hitter. Penny Marshall became the first female director to direct a movie that grossed over 100 million
mm,
at the box office.
wow. Wow.
That's crazy.
That is. Oh,
Tom Hanks took this and ran with it.
he
Okay.
just needs to do more comedies. Anytime I think of Tom Hanks, I don't care. He's a great dramatic actor, awesome,
Fantastic.
but I'd rather watch funny Tom Hanks. Like that's the Tom Hanks I want to see. I want to see Tom Hanks big. I want to see Tom Hanks from Turner and Hooch, even though that movie's not great. I want to see that Tom Hanks. You know what I mean? When he's playing comedy, he just is so good at it.
His physical acting is great.
Okay, can we start there? His
Sure.
physicality overpowers how the child actor has zero physicality. He doesn't move. And then all of a sudden Tom Hanks comes into the film and he's like all over the place, like moving around and gesturing, and he's very expressive where like Josh Baskin as a child is like shy, kind of reserved, and like
So I saw that too, and I was thinking it was kind of like, when a puppy is not grown into his skin, like you could tell like the puppy is the bones and everything's big and the puppy hasn't figured out his body yet. It's almost as like Tom, Josh all of a sudden now has this big body
yeah.
and like has to learn how to control this big body.
Mhm.
And so like you're a kid in this big body
Mhm.
and you don't really know how to use it yet. Cause it gets better. If you notice, like
Yeah.
as time goes on in the movie,
Mhm.
he starts to walk differently and
Mhm.
all this stuff. So it's like maybe that's what it like Tom Hanks was trying to go for, like
Mhm.
being this small person and then all of a sudden getting this body,
Yeah.
So maybe I
Yeah.
could be looking into it differently,
Yeah.
but that's how I kind of saw it there.
Now, I think one of the things that I noticed too was like when I was watching it, and Josh wakes up the next day after making his witch, which we should talk about because, there's a lot going on there. Side pony girl, all those things.
Oh my God, yeah.
But he wakes up and he doesn't notice right away. He has to look in the mirror.
Yes.
Now, you're 13 or 12 or 13, you wake up 30. I think I'm going to notice immediately.
I'm gonna notice as soon as I jump off the bed,
Yeah.
the bunk bed for the one person, and land quickly.
And my
And
clothes have been
and
like exploded off my body.
yeah, except his underwear grew with him.
I don't know. That was so weird. I was just like, maybe it just was made better then, but like there was no way that that would exist because the mom comes in and she goes, "What does he do at night?" It's just like,
Yeah,
if you came in and you saw your kids like clothes torn to shreds,
torn.
and you're just like, "What does he do at night?" I'd be like, "What the fuck is going on here?" My kid's a werewolf, okay, basically.
Yeah, so we're in this storyland that, this 13-year-old kid right away he's talking about,
Mhm.
he's talking with his friend Billy and they're talking about the teacher's shirt, up his shirt. So like this whole movie is really based on like Josh really likes boobs. Let's just say it. I'm going to say it. He's a 13-year-old kid, all he's thinking about is girls and boobs in this movie.
Yeah.
This movie that's what drives this person throughout this whole movie. Yes, like he acts like a kid, he gets the job, he does all this stuff. But anytime there's a boob, this guy loses his mind. Loses his mind. Hormones are raging with
Yeah.
this kid. He's hitting puberty,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So this is also a puberty movie, except he went really quick. He jumped start. He went through it, right? And right away, what I loved about it was the shimmy shimmy cocoa pop.
Oh my God.
Tell me when you heard it, you were like shimmy shimmy cocoa pop, shimmy shimmy rock, right?
Yeah, I totally would like into it because that song, I remember doing that. Like I
Yeah,
remember doing that when I was a kid.
yeah,
100%.
that was fun to see right away. And then he sees the older, what you what you refer to her as the side ponytail.
Yeah, I'll
The
call it side
older, the older girl. I guess the nerd kid's sister.
But is he okay? Is she older than him?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
She's older. He's 13. So she's probably like 15, 16 years old. Okay.
Okay.
And that's why he wanted to act like all like
Yeah.
macho on the ride,
Yeah.
and he lies to her and he
Yeah.
doesn't want to go with mom and dad. First of all, the dad, like you
Vanishes.
only see him once
Yeah. Worse.
at the carnival.
Yeah.
Could they not pay him as an actor
Yeah, I
to
don't
be in other
know.
scenes? Or was it like just supposed to be the mom? How is the dad not involved
I,
in this whole thing?
well, how is the dad not involved? How are the cops not involved? How is the FBI not? How is no one else
Where,
involved?
yeah, I mean, well, they did have his picture on the milk carton,
Right, but like there
so
was
there
no like,
was like some involvement.
but
We just didn't. The story wasn't about that, Dan. Like we're thinking about like this side. Like I thought about that right away. I'm like,
yeah.
how is the father not searching everywhere and
How
like
is
you're
there
not
not?
seeing?
Yeah,
Like there should be there should be another like a spin-off of this of like what the father and mother are doing to try to find this
yeah,
child.
there should be like a Taken story, like because like
Yeah.
he feels like he's like being held for ransom. Why would they hold this kid for ransom? You live in the suburbs of New Jersey. They're not getting anything from you. Like no one cares.
No.
Like but the thing is like he calls and it's like acting as if he's holding himself ransom because he's just trying to call his mom. That phone should have been tapped. There should have been police officers in that house. Like,
I know what.
what are they
And how
doing?
does she not do a sketch of the guy that she saw come into her house?
That was
Well, there's no
so
sketch artists back then.
no sketch artist, no nothing. Well, I mean, here's the thing. You're also talking about a world where the mom is folding laundry next to like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Dude, there was only two sets in this movie. It was the kitchen and the bedroom area.
That's it.
Okay. That was
That's
it.
That's it. That's all they had money for because they had to
That's
spend
all.
money on everything else.
Yeah, and all the garbage that's everywhere in that house.
Oh God, God, it was so great. It was amazing. It was
Dude,
amazing.
mess everywhere. The kid's room was, like my room was that messy all the
Oh God,
time.
my
You
room was
know?
that messy until I was like probably like 23.
Yeah, my
Kidding.
room is still that messy if it isn't for my wife. If it wasn't for my wife. So, all
Oh,
right. So we're going all over the place as usual here, but I just want to get to the part where okay, so he gets upset that he can't go on this ride because he couldn't impress Side Pony.
yeah,
So he sees Zoltar. Tell me Zoltar didn't make you think about Are You Afraid of the Dark?
immediately, immediately,
Just the
immediately.
music like got like creepy
Yeah,
and like I was like, this movie right here could turn into a comedy or a horror film.
yeah. And you know what? According to the IMDb trivia, the Zoltar machine was a prop developed for the film. So though they have these things, and I remember being in Coney Island and there being these types of machines there, they made this specific Zoltar machine for the film. It harks back to similar fortune telling machines from the turn of the 20th century. The Zoltar name was trademarked and a line of machines is available. So I guess after 1988, they created these to then
Really?
other parks, it seems.
Dude, the Zoltar machine is creepy.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's creepy.
And I don't remember having to do that when I was in that machine, like trying to like you shoot the quarter into the mouth. Like you just
Yeah.
press a button and it tells you your fortune on a piece of paper.
I mean, he's got some skills
Yeah.
because, like I would assume. And then where's the prize? Just the fortune is the
It's just a
prize?
business card.
Yeah.
And he
This
realized
is,
that it's unplugged.
and it was unplugged. And
That's right.
then there's like a storm that happens just on their house
That's right.
because that's only where a tree is fallen.
Like
Like
magic.
bushes are. We now are introduced to the big Josh, which
Yeah.
is Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Does a perfect reaction of what you would do if you looked at yourself in the mirror and you were that old.
You just like, whatever. And then freak out.
Freak out. But I think I would have been louder.
Okay, see, that's the thing. I think I would have gotten caught immediately. He wakes up as an older person, as a 30-year-old man, you have to run immediately. You have to go.
Yeah, and you're terrified. You're a 13-year-old kid. You don't know what's going on. So like, what the hell? Well, where are you gonna go here? Let's make this not a comedy, and make this like a drama / horror thriller.
Oh yeah.
Like you're gonna get dissected. They're gonna take you away. No one's gonna believe you. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
And you're
Absolutely.
gonna get tortured. You're gonna be put in a psych ward. That's it.
Especially
So
1988. There's no DNA testing. They're not going to go, well, we'll do DNA. Like,
no, like Josh is gone. Josh
Yeah.
has been stolen,
Yeah.
and you're just a crazy person thinking you embodied a
A 13-year-old.
13-year-old.
Yeah, you're going to jail. It's over.
going to
Like
jail.
you're going to jail. But what does he do? He steals some clothes and he jumps on a bike and he rides to where the carnival was the night before. And when he was riding, I literally thought he was gonna pass by Donnie Darko because it looked like that scene in the beginning of Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
I thought he was just gonna drive right by Donnie Darko. I was just like, oh my God. But no, we don't get that. And the carnival's gone. He's screwed. So what does he do? The dumbest thing he could possibly do. He goes back to the house to try to explain to his mom, who is for some reason singing Chattanooga Choo Choo while vacuuming. That's gonna be more. Who sings that song? Who's casually singing the Chattanooga Choo Choo? Who's doing that?
She was trying to be nostalgic.
Holy nostalgia.
I think they asked her to improvise a song, and she had no idea what to do, and that was the only song that she was thinking in her head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
He goes back and he's like, Mom, it's me. She loses her. Like, she's
Oh,
not listening to you, dude. She's not.
no, no.
And where's dad? He's
That
working.
the dad's working. He's perpetually working. He's never around.
Only works.
Yeah, he
Never
doesn't.
there to answer the phone.
Josh, when he's away, he doesn't even want to talk to his dad. He's just talking to his mom. So obviously, I think there's
This
some
goes
really,
back.
yeah,
It goes back to that era. Like, just like even with Kevin McAllister, he never gave a shit about his dad.
no, he didn't care
He
about his
only
dad.
cared about mom, even though mom left him.
Yeah,
And Kevin McAllister's dad just so happens to be in this movie.
Kevin McAllister's dad's in this movie. Brenda's dad is in this movie. James Eckhouse.
Yo, Brenda's dad, James. James was a silent but deadly extra in a lot of the
Unbelievable.
movies.
He did a great job.
Dude, he was in our first episode, Cocktail. Check
Yeah.
out our first episode.
Check out episode 1. I mean, he had no lines in Cocktail, but
No, he just drank a cocktail.
he had a couple lines. The next scene, this is when things got a little disturbing for me. They're in school. Now they're 12 and 13 years old. So what is this, middle school?
Oh, is the shirts and skins
Yeah, never happened. That's never happened before. No gym teacher in school is like, all right, we're doing gym. This half of the room, you guys take your shirts off. You keep your shirts on. Let's play some basketball. That doesn't happen, everybody.
I think it did back in the day, but not in 1988, in my opinion, because that never happened in my school.
No,
Shirts
no
and
gym
skins.
teacher.
You just had jerseys.
Yeah.
You had like those
Red
those loose jerseys, you know.
Little-
You're either blue or red, you know.
the lacrosse jerseys.
Yeah,
over
exactly.
your pads.
Yeah. And right away, I'm like, shirts and skins. Where are we? We at a beach party?
What is this, a pickup game somewhere? Like this?
What is this?
not...
A frat house?
Oh God!
Shirts
I was
and
like,
skins.
that. Do not ask any. No, that was really weird. And of course, Billy, his friend, freaks out. And to prove that he's Josh, he does the shimmy
Cocoa Pop.
and then Billy's okay with it, which probably shouldn't be, but
But think about it. That would be the best person to go to because
you
a
have to.
13-year-old would believe it.
Yeah.
Because the imagination is there. Where like the adult, not gonna believe it. You're just crazy, right?
His mom pulled a knife on him.
Yeah. We're not getting into the whole scene about the mom and how poorly the police was running. Now, why? Big thing. Why did they choose to go into the city?
Dude, I don't know.
They don't know. They don't know that right now. That's where Zoltar is. They don't even know where to go look. Billy just says we got to go to the city and hide out.
First of all, Billy is one of the smartest people in this movie. Like
street smarts. For someone that kid came from the city, probably moved from the city to Jersey.
Yeah.
And knows his way around.
Because he goes into the city with Josh, sets him up at like what is the worst place he can ever. I mean,
yeah, but damn, don't forget about where we are. We're talking about Manhattan in the 80s.
1988 Manhattan.
All right. So big city, loud, scary, especially don't forget
Ninja Turtles.
This is Ninja Turtles, dirty. Exactly. Check out episode 3.
Shameless plugs.
Don't forget the director must have chosen to it be a little bit more dirty, be a little bit more scary because you're looking at the city for the first time as a 13-year-old by yourself, no parents.
None.
You know, so like it's scary. It's loud.
But Billy definitely not scared. And it seems like he knows where the St. James Hotel is. I don't know why. He's like, oh, the St. James. I'm like,
oh no, I think
familiar with this.
He was like, oh, it's religious. You know, I think Billy is rough around the edges because he didn't grow up in the suburbs. In my opinion, no, because they've known each other since they were
right. They've known each other, but I think Billy just cuts class and does whatever he wants because obviously he for 6 weeks or whatever. Because we'll get to that part, but like he's going back and forth into Manhattan.
Yes.
How is he doing this?
He's resourceful, man.
He has no parents.
Resourceful.
I really think he has zero parents. He just steals money from them. He's stolen a bunch of clothes from his dad, and he gave them to Billy.
And he stole money from him.
Yeah, a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
So Billy either has no.
But he's got to be home by 10.
Right. Yeah. Well, he's probably got to do some chores around the house because obviously he has no parents, so he's got to figure out how to like pay the mortgage that month.
You never see Billy's parents, and he even doesn't even talk to Josh's parents with Billy's parents around. Billy talks to the mother,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
You're right. Billy is the guy from Blank Check, except he's not a multi-millionaire, and he's running this house.
Dude, and that hotel, dude, when he jumped on that bed, he definitely got bed bugs immediately. Then there was that gunshot where I'm like, someone just
Oh
got
my god.
murdered behind him. And then the person was speaking Spanish outside the door and he's just like cowering in a corner. And I'm like, oh my God, like how is he supposed to
Yeah,
function?
that first scene was crazy, and then like what's even crazier is like as he gets used to it, you see like like when the gunshot goes off when he shuts off the TV and it's just as loud, and
Yeah.
he's eating the Oreo
Yeah.
and he hears it and it's like nothing to him now, like
Yeah.
he's just numb to it. That happens when you
That's
just
what
get used
yeah,
to things, so
that's what
that
it's
was
like to live in
interesting
New
too.
York.
That's why I'm just thinking like how great of an actor Tom Hanks is.
Yeah.
Like there are so many little nuanced moves that he does that I was like, oh my God. Like
Yeah.
that's why this role for him was perfect.
I believe that he was 13. Like I
Yes.
was on board with him being 13.
A lot of plot holes though.
Oh, really?
Well, so so they find out where to go to find the Zoltar machine. And then realize that they need to wait 6 weeks. So they're like, what do I do? And Billy right away. Like Josh is hopeless without Billy.
Yeah,
Helpless without.
exactly. I feel like Billy, he's done this before. I feel like Billy's like, I made that wish on the Zoltar, came back,
Yeah.
now I have all this knowledge. I own that house. This is my
Maybe
house.
that's it. Like he maybe Billy was 30 for a very long time and he invested and he got all these stocks and like he had bought his own house.
Yeah.
He's actually his own parents. He's his own
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
He was the dad.
Yeah, he made the reverse wish.
That's
That's
why he believed Josh.
yeah, he's just like, oh, but they
He's
go
like,
get
"Oh yeah, this happened to me. I
yeah.
I was 30 and now I'm
Yeah.
13."
But one thing I realized when they found out what a Zoltar was and it was gonna take 6 weeks, actually when it was gonna take 6 weeks to find out, I was like, man, life without Google was shit.
Shit.
'Cause-
First of all, you're walking to that place trying to figure out where consumers of consumer affairs is, and
oh,
there's only
yeah.
one place to find it. Like we could just look that up right now, like where to find Zoltar. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna come up. Man, things are taking a long time. This guy had to get a job. This is the best part
Oh, God.
because all of a sudden he jumps into responsibility mode.
Yeah.
Billy's like, you just have to get a job.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, Billy should just keep stealing money for him.
Yeah.
But he has to get a job, I guess. I guess to keep
But to keep living in the apartment.
to keep living in that hellhole. But
Yeah.
let's understand the time that goes by in this movie is 6 weeks. So we're working with 6 weeks. We already know it's going to be 6 weeks, right?
Sure. Or less if we're lucky.
Or less, right? So he applies to get this corporate job at this toy company thing, right? He has
As a
Billy,
computer analyst.
yeah, a computer analyst with like zero experience except for
Which
playing
is
that
this
thing
is a big
Oregon Trail.
insult to my aunt and my uncle who are computer programmers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're just like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And he gets the job.
Yeah, he gets the job because he could play like the fantasy version of Oregon Trail.
Yes. Which, by the way, I downloaded on an app. They have the Oregon Trail updated.
Oh,
now.
is it good?
I already got collar on. All of a sudden. Twisted an ankle, broke stuff. It's annoying. They're really setting you up to like fail.
Did you say I already got cholera? Yeah.
I have to go get a wipe. So, guys, if you like Nostalgia Test podcast, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe and like
Follow us on
subscribe.
all social media outlets that you can find us and where you can get podcasts. Podbean, Spotify, Apple.
And the suit, I don't know where Billy's finding these clothes. Like, I don't know if he's still getting them from his house or he's buying these clothes. But the interview goes insane. He uses Billy's locker combination as a social security number, and then just adds two random numbers to it.
Sure. And you got the guy's like going like this the whole time.
Oh my God.
So he gets the job, and now we're gonna see a 13-year-old like jump into like
Yeah.
corporate world.
Which says a lot about how the corporate world in the United States is literally just like, as long as you stay in your cubicle and do half your job every day, like you're fine.
Yeah, yeah. But you get paid like nothing.
Oh my
Like
God.
that was introduced to what's his name? His
John Lovitz.
John Lovitz.
Oh my
Great.
God, dude. I cannot
His
believe
two scenes are phenomenal, in
phenomenal.
my opinion.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
sleazy. He's gross. He's talking about the office, basically the office train wreck, if you will, to be polite about it. And
Oh,
so, so like Billy's like, yeah, 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 and then like
I'll make sure to stay away from her.
I'll make it sit. Yeah, it's great.
Uh,
So Billy's working, calls his mom during this whole time in the middle of work. What is he thinking is going to happen? I guess to calm her down. Why isn't the dad home? Why isn't there more searching papers like around? Why isn't there a cop there
why
waiting for the phone call?
why is the song Memories that she used to sing him when he was a kid? That's a weird song to be singing to your child.
Yeah, that song is creepy.
Memories like the corner of that reminds me when I was in fifth grade or the half of fifth grade when I went to move from Ozone Park, Queens to Long Island to
So you were Billy.
yeah, exactly. Uh, when I went to Meadow Drive, we sang that song because we were graduating.
Me too. In the Hampton at Hampton Street, fifth grade. We sung that. Memories like the corners of the
Did we
mind.
all sing the same song?
Watercolored
Did you
memories
have the same music teacher as me?
of the way we were scattered pictures. That was our graduation song in fifth grade.
Yeah, you
That
sang
was
it.
in Hampton Street. Yeah, we sung it.
Did you have Mr. Glick?
No, it was someone else.
Oh my God.
This is a job for Jeremy,
Yeah, yeah.
for the
Where are you,
duck.
Jeremy?
Where are you, duck?
But yeah, so he meets John Lovitz. He meets Brenda's dad. He calls his mom. He also meets Elizabeth Perkins. I mean, before that in the interview, who was
When they
awesome.
crash into each other?
Yeah, she was on Weeds. She's from Weeds. Awesome actress, amazing. And yeah, they crash into each other because he's rushing to do some Xeroxing, and he, weirdly just stares at her bra.
Again, boobs is running this person's life.
Yeah.
That's all he's thinking about.
If this movie was just PG-13, I don't know if there was that rating yet. I forget. He's in Times Square. He would have went into some sort of seedy, weird strip club or something.
Especially back then.
Yeah, but he's obsessed with like silly string and eating food. So
Well, first of all, again, he's still 13. Maybe he doesn't know that that's a place. It's rated PG, by the
yeah,
way.
no, I know. I'm
I
just
think
saying,
PG 13, he probably would have taken that step. But
yeah,
so he gets paid $135,
$187,
$187,
which still
loses his mind about it. John Lovitz is like, oh, yeah, it's terrible. And he's loving it. Like he's
still
never seen
amazing.
this much money ever. Billy
Dude,
shows up and they go
oh
off
God.
the pizza and the silly string,
And
which
sitting on that floor in that like drug infested hotel room.
yes, which then led to, the sales of silly string go up. And the only reason why you buy silly string is to reenact that scene.
Yeah,
I have to go get her wipe. Yeah, it looks like something we should put to the test.
hang
Shameless
in there.
plugs.
Check out an episode that might be out. No idea. So, how much time do you think went by? 1 or 2 weeks? Because I don't know if he's getting paid once or every other week.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be 1 week,
Okay.
but it probably is 2 weeks. I'm saying 1 week.
So
It's
1 week. So
Yeah.
1 week has already passed. Next scene after the silly string is he's in FAO Schwartz. This is
Yes.
the next scene. And this is the probably the most memorable scene of the entire film. Already
Most
having
memorable.
this is the thing about some of these movies. I start realizing, like, man, they really front load the scenes that I always think are like further
Further in.
along. Yeah, like Wayne's World.
Exactly, with the Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It's funny. I thought this movie was longer than it was because of this. Because I'm like, oh man, when are they going to get to the FAO Schwartz part? And I was like, oh, we're already there. Like, this guy's getting a raise tomorrow. Like
That's the crazy.
this is crazy.
In 1 week, he rose to like vice president of
Dude,
some
in one
shit.
week, in like 3 days, he gets a job. It takes like forever for people to get jobs.
Yeah.
This guy gets a job.
With a fake social security number, a shitty suit. He has no clue what's going on. He has
No,
zero education. They just like
no.
"Can you start tomorrow."
Yeah. And
And
he's
he's
just right in it. Like he's lazy at school and all this stuff, but at work, on fire.
on
Like
fire.
on fire.
John Lovitz told him to slow down.
Yeah. He was like,
He
you're
just
making us look
started.
bad.
Like he
Yeah.
sat down, he did 2
Kid
minutes of
doesn't want to
work.
do homework, but like he's better at you
He did 2 minutes
pressing
of work.
enter.
2 minutes of work. And John Lovitz is like, "Oh, you're making us look bad." It's like he just sat down.
All he did was breathe. He got coffee.
Oh my god, dude! So he's in FAO Schwartz, which I love FAO Schwartz when I was a kid.
Oh man, dude, this
uh,
movie sold FAO Schwartz too, man. This movie, first of all, I was like, you could have that much fun there? Like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
I guess. Yeah, so he's playing with the photon guns, which that brought me back. That was amazing to see. And who does he run into? Fucking Robert Loggia, the fucking president of the company.
Of course. And then Robert's just there doing research. And the best part is like he's connecting with this guy, Josh. Which you got to give it to Robert. Like he's just talking to a different department than he's probably ever used to. And he's like, oh, let me talk to this guy. Like, he was finally found an interest. But then, of course, the best scene of the movie comes up, the most classic scene. Anytime you hear chopsticks, this is what you're thinking about. They walk into the piano, which obviously, if you don't know, the piano is only 6 feet. The actual piano, when you go there, they made a special piano for this movie to make it bigger so that they both could play on it. And it was actually played by them. No doubles.
I was blown away by that. I couldn't believe I'm watching Robert Loggia. He played Skeletor, Masters of the Universe. He was that guy in Scarface. Remember, he was in Scarface.
Yes, he was.
And he's in Over the Top. He's such an asshole.
He's the freaking father in Over the Top, the grandfather.
Yeah.
Terrible. He's a terrible person in that movie. This guy could actually probably have been the father in Elf. I actually got a very Elf feel.
Dude, you're reading my mind. You must have watched the movie with me because that's another thing I said. I'm like, this is like Elf. Like,
yeah. Yeah, man. I got a big Elf feel. I'm like, oh my God. I wonder if Will Ferrell watched Big and was like inspired by like the kid in this. Like, it was Elf.
I would love to have seen like a Robert Loggia, Tom Hanks Elf. Like, not now. Obviously, I think Robert Loggia died. But I think did he? I don't even know. Hopefully not, but like I want to see that. You know what I mean? Like it would have been a great pairing. But it's funny to watch Robert Loggia dance on the piano thing because I was like, this guy doesn't look like he could he's not light on his feet. But man, he was bouncing around there.
Robert Loggia did die in 2015.
Rest in peace.
It was a great scene. Chopsticks all the way, jumping back and forth. Yeah. They jumped. That jump, I was like, amazing. I wonder how many times they took to do that. But it was such a great scene. Everyone stops, watches them. Classic to go to FAO Schwartz just to see this piano and play on it.
Absolutely.
Have you been?
I had been when I was a kid. I saw that.
Did you wait on the line?
No.
To go to the piano? I don't like waiting online for stuff like that. But like, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, because like when you watch the movie, you're like, oh, it happened so organically. And like nobody was there. Nobody was like seeing the piano. And then after they leave, everybody's like obsessed with the piano.
Yeah.
So he obviously impresses the boss. He gets an executive vice president.
Unbelievable.
Of like toy testing. Yeah. Which is like the ultimate job.
A week and a half in, he's the vice president of something. He has a secretary. That 70s Show mom is there.
Yeah.
I don't know what her deal was. I feel like there was a whole B story for her. There was some whole story why she was so fucking weird. It was so odd.
She had a great boss. He wasn't yelling at her a lot.
No, he had nothing. He was just sitting in there playing with toys all day, and all she had to do was like what? Take a phone call or two?
Yeah.
I didn't understand what her problem was.
His salary skyrocketed in less than like 2 weeks. His salary was off the
You
charts
know,
because
yeah.
the apartment that he gets
Holy shit. How?
was crazy. And by the way, did you see that he was testing Pongo Ball?
Oh, dude,
Pago?
I saw it. I wrote that down immediately. I was like, he's jumping on a pogo ball. All those people are jumping on pogo balls.
Pongo balls.
Those aren't fun.
No, they're
Everyone
not
go
fun.
back and listen to an episode that we did about TV toy commercials. Pogo ball, not fun, dangerous, horrible toy.
Yeah, and he also at one point it was the big mitts, the big
Oh
boxing
yeah,
mitts.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh my
dude,
God.
anyways, he gets a promotion and then go like that's when he starts on a spending spree.
Oh,
Like,
unbelievable.
I want this guy's job.
Yeah,
He the corner lot. He got a loft somewhere.
he got a corner loft. I don't know how he did. He
Corner.
obviously
It was
he has no
two
ID.
sides.
He has
First of
no
all, this
ID.
is this goes back to the holes in this plot.
He
Okay.
has zero ID.
We
How does
when
he
he
get
went and got his check cashed. How are you cashing your check with an ID? He has no ID. They didn't
no?
show it that he went and go get fake unless Billy got him a fake ID.
Which, knowing Billy, he might have
Billy
gotten
was resourceful.
Billy was definitely the friend that's like, I'll get you the fake ID, I'll get you the clothes. I'm pretty sure Billy got him that apartment. Like Billy is the one that directed him to go, look, we got to get you an apartment, bro. I know this place. I used to live there when I was 30. So let's get you there. So I think like he just brought him to his old apartment.
Billy was the cleaner. Like he was like the finisher. Like he knows how to get things done.
Dude,
Dude,
at
I'm
some
wondering if
point,
Ginger Kids Production named themselves Ginger Kid Production because of Billy, because he's so resourceful.
hit us up, Ginger Kid Productions.
Scott, we didn't ask you why it's called that, but I want to know. Hit us up.
First of all, if Billy didn't have that conversation with the mom, right? At some point, I was like, is Billy really there? Oh, because no one acknowledges his existence. This is
No,
another issue, just like an airborne, where like that girl Nikki, no one acknowledged that she existed, and until someone else did, I was like, "Is this a figment of this guy's
that was
imagination?"
just like the kid in the Home Alone that he's just talking to everybody
Yeah,
in the morning and messes up the count. Like
yeah.
no one's acknowledging this child.
No, Billy just exists. So I'm trying to figure out, like, one, he has no ID. He shouldn't have been able to cash that money. Two, how do you get on a payroll without a real social security number, right? Three, how do you have any references to get this apartment? Oh,
Yeah.
are you paying in cash? Everything?
And Billy,
You have
and
a
notice that
credit
Billy
card?
is the one that says, "We'll take it."
Yeah, exactly.
Josh is just he's off the chain here. He's
But
just doing
people
whatever.
and no one questions it. There's like,
No,
oh, this older man is with this younger child who looks nothing like him, so it can't be his kid. All right, whatever. What is
I
this relationship?
no one cares.
What is this going on?
No one
Oh my
cares.
God. It's just like at a certain point, there should have been an adult that went like, do you notice that Josh keeps hanging out with this like 12-year-old child? You wouldn't
Yeah,
even talk to him about this. No, they were just like, oh, he's doing his job. Whatever.
yeah, exactly. And can we did lose this on the track that do you notice that she smokes cigarettes? The love interest smokes cigarettes
Yeah.
in like every scene.
Elizabeth Perkins, she smokes so much.
Small, just the whole time. She has a
The whole,
cigarette in her hand.
but then she stopped smoking.
This is true. This is true.
I guess there's a reason.
Yeah.
Can we just say that
Man.
Billy risks his life every day to go into Manhattan and leaves at night in 1988 Manhattan? He gets on a bus to go back to New Jersey, and then I don't know how he gets from wherever the bus station is to his house.
That's probably a bike.
Where? In the car park?
Huh. So now we get the scene where it's the skyscraper and the robot, and he's like, I don't get it, and like he suggests like a great idea, and Kevin
Hurt.
McAllister's dad is like all upset about it,
He hates him.
and she gets so hot and bothered. Like
So weird.
she's weird. Like she obviously just and he calls it out on her. She just jumps to the next successful executive vice president.
Yeah, he tries to shame her.
Who,
Um,
Susan? Yeah, he tries to. Yeah,
and it's just like, all right, Kevin McAllister's dad, like, relax yourself. Like, you just are, not great at anything. So, she's got to, bounce.
yeah, you suck.
I mean, you're boring. They go to that party and he's just like
Oh,
talking nonsense. He comes down in his Dumber and Dumber like tuxedo.
oh, it's fantastic.
Robert Loggia loves him. Everything he does, he's like, great idea, Josh. Hey, Josh,
Did you
love
notice?
the tuxedo, Josh. It's
Did you
great.
notice at the meeting he raises his hand just like a
Yeah,
kid would?
yeah,
Like it was funny because everybody was watching him. And it's like you could just talk. Where like,
yeah,
so like there was still some like kid in him still, right?
yeah.
And like again, the part with the tux, like where he rents this white tux and he comes in, I thought that was later in the movie too. And I'm like, wow, we're here already. And then
Yeah.
you get another love it scene where he's like creepily hitting on
Oh,
the train wreck of the company, and he's like, she wants to leave, and he's just like,
yeah.
he's basically the character that he was in Wedding Singer.
Oh my God. That's probably what happens. That character's probably like, I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving this work to then go be a wedding singer.
Yeah, he's just playing the same dude. This is another scene that is unforgettable. The
I
mini corn, and the
caviar.
caviar
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
Like exactly how a child would look at that. And that was improv. Tom
Yeah.
Hanks improv that.
Yeah.
Eating it like a corn on the cob was such an amazing,
I mean, I remember doing that when I was a kid because I thought it was funny.
so great. And then with the caviar, he's like, well, he like that was phenomenal. And she's like, do you want to get out of here? Again, she was smoking cigarettes everywhere she went.
Yeah. Yeah.
He sees the limo and was like, is that your car? I've never seen anything like it. Like, just like a child would be like, it's a massive car. We're, as adults, we're so jaded, just like, yeah, I
So
mean, like,
jaded.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, whatever. The best is like, she's like spilling her guts and like being all vulnerable. She even says, I'm being vulnerable. And all he's thinking about, because he's a child with like hyperactive,
He's like jumping around.
he's just jumping around because he's never been in a limo before.
Playing with the locks, like turning all the little lights on, open the phone, like turning the radio on, and she's just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and blah blah. And he's just like, what is that? What is that?
And he's like picking up the phone. And she's like, do you want to make a phone call? Like, she has no idea how to react to this gentleman.
None.
Yeah, no idea.
And
And
she's
he's
just
just
like
like,
down for it.
yeah. Well, it's something new, right? Because like the best is like when he passed the apartment, he's like, oh, that's my apartment. And she's like, oh, I'd like to see where you live. She's obviously flirting with him.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, you want to see where I live? Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. And
Yeah.
then she's like talking about, this nuance of like sleeping over.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't do this so quickly. And he's like,
Oh, you
well,
wanna
like sleep over. It's like, as long as I get to be on top.
That
Best line.
was hilarious. And they go back and first of all, Elizabeth Perkins, her reactions, everything that she did was so perfect. I mean, she was so awesome. Their chemistry was so great. When they go into the apartment, first of all, they open the door and it's just toys and like a soda machine. He's got a trampoline in the
House.
apartment.
That's again he first of all, that whole apartment costs like $100,000 plus the stuff that he had to go get to put in there. He has a trampoline that could hold like 10 people
Yeah.
in his apartment.
Yeah. Nowadays with inflation, that loft is worth like $5 million or more. I mean,
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
ridiculous. Like, and he has bunk beds.
And by the way, fast forward to the end, he just left that apartment. Like, no one's living in that apartment right now.
Left everything.
Who put a down payment on that apartment?
Unless
It's good.
it's like a month-to-month lease.
Imagine he still has it. Mom starts getting a bill. Like, why am I paying for this apartment?
That's the thing. Like, if I was him, he could have, if he saved any money, he would be. First of all, I can't even get to I want to like immediately just say, this kid cannot go back to being 13. He can't go back. Now that he's done all of this shit, he's going back to school. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'd be looking at my homework being like, why did I want to come back? Like, what is this?
I had a job testing fucking toys.
I had everything.
Goes back
Oh,
to his room with a bunk bed.
he was sleeping
With
in a bunk bed
his
anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm saying like he just goes back to his like okay, not his house wasn't bad, but
Yeah.
like that apartment was insane. It was in Manhattan.
He goes back to possibly being grounded, having to do homework, taking tests, do like you know what I mean? Like all the shit as like an adult now, and I'm like, well, I mean, I'm a teacher, so I've given myself lifelong homework. But like the idea that like he has to like he's gonna go to school and someone's gonna be like, all right, pop quiz. He's like, I was a vice president at like a whole huge corporation.
Yeah, and he just gave
That
them
is
like the
not
greatest. By the way, he also gave them the greatest idea. Like
oh, he invented the
he didn't even
Kindle.
trademark that.
He invented the iPad.
He
He literally
invented a
invented
computer. Yeah, he invented the smartphone before it was a
yeah,
smartphone or
yeah,
the
he invent,
iPad.
yeah,
You're right. The
like an
tablet.
RPG iPad,
Yeah,
like RPG game on an iPad. That's what he invented.
yeah. He
And
invented a laptop, a tablet.
yeah,
Like and like he just left. Like he should have signed a contract with her. Like, hey, by the way, I'm leaving, but you need to put money that's made from this like idea
yeah,
away from me. Cause like
yeah.
she's like, look me up in 10 years. Like, fuck yeah, I will, because you're about to get a lot of money in royalties on an idea that I gave to you.
I would be
Like,
immediately looking for that Zoltar machine for a third time, being like, what was I thinking?
yeah, like, hold on. I just left a meeting in which I gave all the idea and then just left.
Yeah, just left.
Like
Oh,
they should fast forward like what happens to Josh when he's like walking by the toy company that is now Apple and has taken over the world and
yeah.
he's like "Meh," and he can't even get a job there.
I think
That would be
Josh.
they should do big two and he's bankrupt. Like he can't even get a job at the toy shop
Yeah.
anymore.
There are two things that might happen to him. One, he loses his mind and becomes yeah, like that, like can't get a or two, he becomes Patrick Bateman from American
Oh shit.
Oh
Yeah, because like you're right. We're gonna get into this, but why he can't go back really is like this is a couple of things that are gonna drive him crazy.
yeah.
So
Go
all
back
right,
to the
so
sleepover.
so back to this sleepover.
You want a Coke?
I thought
That's
this was a really great part because of like the dynamic that's going on. She thinks that they're gonna go get drinks and get loose and like whatever.
yeah.
I have to go get her wipe. He puts her on the trampoline,
Oh,
and there's a moment
yeah,
in which she becomes a kid again.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
thought that was a fantastic moment. It's
It was.
also her drug to start liking him.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
he didn't need alcohol to get her. He just needed to be him. I mean, this is
yeah.
a little creepy that he's a 13-year-old kid, but
It's totally creepy.
like, like she, she found like her self again
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah.
So this movie gets deep from here on out. It gets
This
and a
almost
lot of
becomes
turning
her
point for
movie.
Josh. Yes. And it turns into like a turning point and a down spiral on Josh.
Yeah,
Josh grows up right here,
yeah,
starts
yeah,
growing up, right?
yeah,
Not just yet, but starts because he's about to have some adult things too. Because
yeah.
now the next scene, she's back with the boyfriend who's now asking her all these questions,
Oh,
thinks that she slept with Josh.
uh-huh.
He goes and challenges him to a
Racquetball?
racquetball
It was
game.
where were they? West Fourth? That looked like where were they playing this? And he was
I
dressed
don't know.
like a country club, and Josh was like dressed like a New Yorker of the '80s that goes to the park to do something.
Yeah, he wanted just to go play basketball. And
Yeah.
he was like, so he beats him up because he's, dick swinging. Like he's all upset, gets beat up. Then she finally breaks up with the
Yeah.
boyfriend, realizes he calls her out.
What a dick. Kevin McAllister's dad sucks.
Yeah. And then, now we're fast forwarding to like, well, not even fast forwarding, like he is on a date with her,
Yes.
takes her dancing,
Yes. Yes.
which who dances?
Well, because they went to that carnival
Yes.
where the
Okay.
Zoltar machine is.
Which he didn't notice.
Well, did he?
He didn't notice it was there, or did
Okay.
he? No, he
See that?
didn't.
Okay.
And then she also even started dressing differently.
She's dressing differently. She's not smoking any cigarettes. When you she in the beginning of the movie, she's like angular, like all the clothes she wears looks like
Yes.
triangles. And then all
Yes.
of a sudden it's like softer. Everything's
Yeah.
much softer and she's
Very
not smoking
soft.
so it's interesting how like her being around him kind of softens her in some ways, but also, she gets to really know what she wants and who she is. And that's the thing that's weird about this movie. Like, it's about Josh, but then it becomes about her. And maybe that's the extended version because, like we said in the Wikipedia notes, it says that the theatrical version that's 104 minutes, right? And then there's this one that's much longer, right? That
Yeah.
we want the extended. Now, I believe we watched the extended version, which was an hour and 44 minutes. So maybe it has a better story for Elizabeth Perkins, right? Like that.
Yeah, but look, dude, just think about the time of this too, because
Yeah,
she takes him out to dinner with friends.
that was really interesting. Like, but how much time has passed at this point?
To me, it was like 6 months.
It seemed like that, right? It's supposed to, it's like, did 6 months pass or 4 weeks? Like, all this stuff is accelerated.
I was like, what is happening? They're already going on dates. He's
Yeah.
like teaching the kid and like, oh, she's falling in love. And then comes the part where he finally gets to touch the boob.
That's gonna be more.
This scene was funny in a way of like the light turning on and off thing was hilarious because she's used to lights off. She's an adult, doesn't want to see herself naked. He has never seen a boob.
Right.
So
Right.
he was like, I ain't shutting this off.
No.
Now,
That's gonna be more.
let's get on this. This is only good and cute and funny and whatever because it's a man portraying a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
I'm going PC on this. If this is a woman
Right. They can't do
portraying a 13-year-old girl, none of this is happening.
this is why 13 going on 30, I feel like was written the way it was written. Because instead of it being the next day and then she's 30, the whole world has gone forward in time. So she's actually grown up and everyone around her, her friends, everybody has also gone forward
Okay.
15 years or whatever, right?
So like
So,
click.
right, exactly. So it's not like she's a girl in the body of an adult. Now, this doesn't make it better still, but it changes, I guess, the perspective of it being like, all right, no, everyone's older. She's actually an older person. Where here it's just like he is literally just in the shell of a 30-year-old and he's a 13-year-old.
I'm just saying that they wouldn't have put a sexual scene in the movie if it was reversed.
Probably not. I'm trying to think if any of the movies like that, but I don't think so. Which is interesting considering the history of movies and how much women have been sexualized in films.
Yeah,
And
but that I'm just saying, like, so like
when you
you
have
know, you're
like this
watching
kind of
Tom Hanks is an older person and stuff like that, but
yeah,
like he's a kid inside and whatever.
yeah.
So like after this, all of a sudden, Josh is wearing a suit to work.
Well, the next scene is basically, first of all, that whole scene with the bra and everything. It like he like, dude, it's like you can't even describe it. Like she's like having a moment, and then like the bra strap falls off her arm. Cut to the next day, and like he's like walking around in that very cliche way, like he just had sex.
Bro, you were saying before, like he can't go back to being 13. Like
No,
he had sex.
yeah, he had adult
And they
sex.
had it a couple of times.
This is not just like not like like in American Pie and these movies like where it's like the obsession of like losing one's virginity, and that could be funny. No, he's a 30-year-old man who's had sex with an adult woman. He can't go back to being 13 and being like, and when he does, that's what I'm saying. He could be Patrick Bateman because now he's just like the knowledge of the world that he knows, corporate life, like this weird like love life, and he's experienced stuff in 6 weeks that like
Yeah.
how can you go back to like learning algebra?
So, all right. So he's all excited. Billy's trying to take him out to dinner, and he totally
That's the weirdest
bounces on
restaurant
Billy.
ever. Oh
Yeah. He totally bounces on Billy for a girl, which I'm not surprised about because like this whole movie was based on him being wanting to be with an older girl,
Yeah.
right? So like, but then he's like, I have to work. So right there, you're like,
Mm,
he has been transformed. He goes back to like being an adult. You forget the important things. You forget. You keep making excuses that it's not enough time to do this, not enough
right.
time to do that. That became a reality, like
Yeah.
in it, where like Josh forgot that he was a
Josh.
kid,
Yeah.
and Billy had to be the one to come back and remind Josh and
Hmm.
snap him out of it. Because like
Right.
there was this scene when like they were putting the comic book pitch together, and she's like, "What are we?" And he did act like a child in that, where he didn't
Yeah.
really answer. He didn't know how to say like "I love you."
Yeah.
He was like being very childish about like throwing the comic book at her.
He hit her with that really hard.
Yeah, yeah. So like again, he all of a sudden reverted after
Yeah.
the conversation with Billy. It bothered him a little bit.
Mhm.
Then she brings that up, and then he just totally leaves the meeting, realizes that yeah, he's got to like go back to being a kid.
Yeah, and she freaks out when he tries to tell her, obviously, because she's like, why is this happening to me? This is where the movie becomes like a tragedy for Elizabeth Perkins. I mean, because not
Oh
only
no,
did,
man, she's making money off of that idea.
oh, she's making money off the idea, but think about it, like the realization of what is going on, like
Oh
she's like,
sure.
the one guy who got me was literally a 13-year-old boy, and then this woman has to go to years of therapy after this. There's no way she can't just go. All right, I guess I got to go home because I got to get up early for work tomorrow.
No.
There is no going to work tomorrow.
How do you explain like where did Josh go? What's up with his apartment? What did he leave there? He just left the apartment. Coke
He left it.
machine there,
Yeah.
trampoline is there, going to dark compass is there. Like what's happening in that apartment right now?
If I was Elizabeth Perkins in that film, I would probably just try to like just take that apartment at that point.
The apartment just exists. Like Josh, give me the keys to your apartment. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna live in your apartment.
It just seems like people can get
Because
stuff.
imagine having that apartment now.
Oh my God. I mean, it just seems like in 1988, you could get a job without anything. You can get an apartment without ID. You can do anything without having any ID ever, or any sort of credit cards or bank accounts, or I don't know where his money is. Like, and these are the things I think about as an adult watching this film. Like,
Sure.
I suspend my disbelief because it was really good.
So
But
that's where I agree. Like I've said this a couple times when we review movies.
yeah,
When the movie gets me to, suspend my disbeliefs, like obviously it's a movie about a freaking kid who turns 30. Like, come on.
yeah,
We know it's fake,
exactly.
it's fantasy.
Yeah,
But if you get me to believe it, like if you get me like you said, like Tom Hanks is so good that you're like, all right, what would it be like if a child, I mean, if a man who was a child goes to FAO Schwartz,
hmm,
like is able to go to places without his parents,
hmm,
is able to do, adult things, but as a kid, and then kind of show you how like stupid and trivial it actually is.
right. And do like kid things as an adult where like no one questions it, right? Like he's just running around doing whatever he wants and no one really says anything.
Hmm.
So I think that also like says a lot too. I think though, like at the end when she drives him home and and then sees him walking away and then shrinking into the suit, she should lose her mind at that point. Like she should be like, what did I just see?
Now, you think she saw it or she turned away and it happened? And why does it happen during the day and he had to wait at night for that? Like, why? This should have been like an overnight thing.
I
When it
think,
happened during the day, it bugged me out.
well, I think it had to happen for the story to make sense because why the fuck would they drive him home? Like that's what I was thinking as I was watching. Like, why is she driving him back home? He needs to turn into a kid overnight and
Yeah.
then he can go home. What's he
Do you know
gonna
what
do?
I got it was that he really needed to want it
Mm.
for it to happen.
Oh, so it was like an extra special like magic
So
involved.
he said like, I wish, yeah, and he got his wish, but like he needed to be like on his way for
Okay.
it to like happen.
She can't ever have another relationship after this.
No. How do you explain that? Like
Get
this is she's dying with this secret.
one, she's dying with this secret.
Or she should make a movie about it
Yeah, and two,
and
actually
call it
maybe.
Big. This podcast is brought to you by Lethargy Brewing Company, owned and operated by Manny, one of the co-hosts of the Nostalgia Test podcast. Find Lethargy Brewing at lethargybrewing.com. It's based out of Long Island, Farmingdale, Main Street, 12 beers on tap, New York wine and spirits as well.
Oh my God, dude. And he, like I said, once again, I think it's going to last for about a week where he's going to be like in school. Oh, it's great. And the first time his parents go, you have to go to bed. It's your bedtime. He's going to be like, fucking, what's bedtime?
That and like the best would be like, oh, you have to go to college. Like, no, I don't. No, you do. Like, no, I can just get a job by telling people I do this, and I'm gonna start my own toy company. Like, I hope he takes this and like learns from it.
Yeah, like I have an apartment in Manhattan. It's just sitting there waiting for me. I'm going to go there, clean it up, and I'm going to start my own company.
Yeah, like I put money aside in this account. I have a bank account. Somehow got a bank account.
I mean, in 10 years, call up Elizabeth Perkins and be like, hey, I would like to start this company. I've been working on this idea for the last 10 years. Let's we don't have to be in a relationship. Let's just do this shit and make some bank.
Yeah, or like keep in touch with her and like give her ideas. It's only 10 years. Like that's not a big deal in like age difference when they get older, is what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because
I'm not saying like they should be in a relationship. I'm saying like stick with my ideas, and in 10 years I'm going to look you up. We could, like you said, either we get in business, maybe we'll get together, or at least we'll be in business together.
Yeah, like I'm 23. We could just go into business with each other. I have all this knowledge now. School's nonsense. I'm just gonna work through it and just
I'm gonna go to BOCES and I'm only gonna work on like computer stuff.
He doesn't, he just has to actually go to school for 5 more years, turn 18, and then just go with all the knowledge I have that I just got, all this experience. I'll, either move to Manhattan or just start working. I'll keep in touch with what's her face, with Elizabeth Perkins, and we can start a business together. We don't have to be in a relationship, but we can do this. And just do that. Like he needs just 5 years in school and then he's out.
How is he getting through like girlfriends and stuff? How is he?
Dude, I don't know, right? Like, how is he going to do that? He can't. He can't go back to that. The things that have happened.
Like even like petty stuff that like kids like that happen in school that you're just like, this doesn't matter. None of this matters.
No, none of it. Like they're gonna
be like he's gonna go to this if the company still exists, he's gonna go there and be like, who's the president right now? It's like, I'm gonna take your job. What do you mean? I had your job 10 years ago.
Yeah. And he can't ever have a girlfriend now that he's gone back to being 13. In fact, he should stay away from that because he's gonna get himself in really big trouble.
Again, this could have been easily turned into a horror film.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, listen. All right, we're coming to an end here.
Yeah, we are.
We could drag on. We're starting to repeat. This is the Manny Quillo repeat.
I'm just gonna jump right in and just say it. Like it passes the nostalgia test.
Fuck yeah, it does.
Big.
Oh, it definitely passes it. Big passes it. Another Hasselhoff hit. If you disagree, let us know. We're just still gonna ignore you.
Oh.
You go back and being 13, then it passes the test. Tom Hanks, we love you. Do more comedy.
Do more comedy, Tom Hanks.
I mean, I like him in Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump.
I think we have to put Forrest Gump to the test, though. I think there's a lot of problems with that film. We'd have to go back and look at.
I don't know if you're not going to do that to me. You're not going to do it to me. Of course, it is. There's so many plot holes in that movie. It's a history lesson. It's like Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire."
We're gonna have to do a big Billy.
Forrest Gump versus "We Didn't Start the Fire." What is a better history lesson?
Anyway, people, okay. Everyone, tell us what you think about Big. What are your favorite scenes? Who are your favorite characters? Can Josh ever go back to being 13? We'd like to know what you think. Subscribe and like and review the podcast on the nostalgiatest.com. You can find us at Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart. I mean, we're everywhere at this point. Look us up. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Nostalgia Test and Twitter at Nostalgia Test. And we'll see you at the next test. Manny, this was a good one.
Yeah, man. This episode is brought to you by Lithology Brewing Company in Farmingdale, Long Island, New York. A nano brewery owned and operated by one of the Nostalgia Test podcast hosts, me, myself, and I. Come down, come and see me if you mention this episode, and I'm behind the bar. Get 10% off. Drink Flex.
All right, Manny. I'll see you later, everyone. Peace.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please subscribe to the Nostalgia Test podcast to know when new episodes drop. Don't forget to leave us 5 stars and a positive review so more people can find the podcast. Share your thoughts and memories on today's topic on our Twitter at Nostalgia Test and on Instagram at The Nostalgia Test. Tune in next time because you never know what pop culture will pop up on The Nostalgia Test.